Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Manchester United won Leicester City 0, fifth game into the Premier League season, and Manchester United's second win of the Premier League season. But I did say, prior to the game, it was very imperative, that Manchester United, do get back to winning ways. But I think, it's a good result, reflecting on the amount of injuries, Manchester United had. Don't forget today, we had obviously, Paul Pogba out with injury, Anthony Martial out with injury, Luke Shaw out with injury, and Jesse Lingard, of course, is still ill. So we had quite a few imperative players out. So obviously reflecting on the amount of injuries we had, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to make alterations. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today went with a 4-2-3-1 formation. I did say he'll go that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season. So he went with David De Gea in goal. Obviously David De Gea I think made his 367th appearance today for the club. Obviously Wan-Bissaka at right back. And there was doubts before the game that Wan-Bissaka could have missed the game today, because don't forget the other week he had to withdraw from the England squad. Obviously after he sustained a back injury, and that, obviously in that aspect that prevented him from making his England senior debut. But yeah, he did start today, and I thought Wan-Bissaka again was absolutely phenomenal at that right back position. And a lot of people believe he has been one of our most consistent signings as Wan-Bissaka. His distribution's good, and I think he's had a fantastic start to his Man United career, and I think his valuation will continue growing if he does keep this consistency up. Obviously it was Lindelof and Harry Maguire as a centre back partnership. Obviously it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs, and I thought today they blended in fantastically well. I thought Harry Maguire again had a good game. Lindelof had a good game today. I thought Lindelof was a bit below par in his last couple of games, but I thought today he really stepped up to the plate. So we defended quite well today, so I will credit them in that aspect. Obviously at left back it was Ashley Young. Obviously it's 2 games now on the trot. He's played at that left back position. Ashley Young obviously he's fulfilling Luke Shaw's role, because we do know that Luke Shaw is out with injury. But this is second game now in a row that Ashley Young has captained the team. Obviously in that midfield it was McTominay and Nemanja Matic. Obviously McTominay, it was good that he kept his place in the team, because he's been very consistent so far this season. Don't think he had a pretty bad game today, to be quite honest. I think I don't know if it's a long-term solution for Manchester United, and I've got an element of concerns in that aspect. But I think he started this season really, really well. Nemanja Matic, like I said, he started in that midfield. Obviously he's no longer first choice anymore, but I think Matic only played there obviously with the injury of Paul Pogba. With 3 attacking mids, we saw obviously Daniel James on the left. Obviously we saw Juan Mata in that number 10 role, and we did see Andres Pereira on that right hand side, and obviously we saw Rashford up top. So Man United did win by 1-0 against Leicester. The goal came in the 8th minute mark. It was a Marcus Rashford penalty, so thanks to that we got all 3 points today. But it was very imperative anyway that we did get back to winning ways. But I did say before the game it was going to be a tough game, because I said Leicester invested well this summer. Brendan Rodgers has done a pretty decent job with Leicester, and this is also Leicester's first defeat of the Premier League season. It only ended 1-0, but it's good that we kept a clean sheet as well. That's also very, very essential. But there's still problems in the squad that do there's still problems in the squad, and obviously we need to see further more investment in January. But the big question is who will Manchester United sign in January? That is the big question. But like I did say, we've got to now go on a winning run, and obviously we've want to keep our hopes up for that top 4, because I did initially say at the start of the season our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4, and obviously want to get in that top 4 anyway, because we want to get back into the Champions League. And maybe in that aspect, if we can get back into the Champions League, we can attract players to elite level, because obviously analysing it throughout the course of the summer, we did recommend 3 good players to the squad. We spent over £140 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. But we do believe that wasn't enough. But it was good that we did address some of the problematic areas, but we didn't address all the problematic areas. But I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs time to make further more investment in the squad, because obviously you can still say he's in the process of rebuilding. Obviously Solskjaer brought some substitutions on in the second half. I only watched bits and bats of the game. Well, I've just watched, some of the highlights, but, I think Chong came on in the second half. I think that's his first appearance for the club this season, and Chong came on for Juan Mata. Obviously, Fred came on for Nemanja Matic. It was good to see Fred come on. I thought Fred did actually quite well, when he came on. And who else came on? I think Fred came on for Matic, Chon came on for Mata, and Alex Tuanzebe came on for Daniel James. Again, I thought Daniel James had a pretty decent game. He's had a great start to his Manchester United career. Don't forget, he has scored 3 goals so far this season as Daniel James. He's still a prospect, and he needs time to develop, does Daniel James. But I think he started his Manchester United career really, really well. Don't forget, he scored in his competitive debut at the start of the season in the 4-0 victory over Chelsea, and he only made his senior debut in February 2018 for Swansea. So I think he's doing really, really well for the football club. But yeah, very, very good win today, for Manchester United. And obviously we've got to continue this good. We've got to, now. Go on a good winning run, basically. We've got games coming up thick and fast. We've got FC Astana, coming up in the Europa League on Thursday. Then obviously we've got to go to West Ham away. That's obviously, going to be a difficult game. And I think it's Arsenal after West Ham. Obviously in between that as well, we have got Rochdale in the Carabao Cup. But I'm hopeful for the game against West Ham, that, some more players, do regain full fitness. So hopefully Pogba and Anthony Martial, can be back for the West Ham game. So far this season, 5 games into the Premier League season, we've won 2, we've drawn 2, and of course we have lost 1, and we've only scored 8 goals so far this season. So for me, we do need to score more goals. We do seem to be creating a lot of chances, but we're just not being ruthless enough in front of goal, and that actually was a problem last season, and that's why last season we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League. So I did initially say so far this season what I've seen, it's replicating what I saw last season, but it was a good result today. Maybe if we would have had more players, if we would have had Pogba and Martial out, maybe it would have been more than 1-0. I think Leicester did have their moments in the game. Leicester, like I said, they've got some good players. They've got Jamie Vardy, obviously they've got Ndidi, they've got James Maddison, they've got Ndidi, they've got James Maddison, and they've got Yuri Tillemans as well, so they have got a pretty decent squad of Leicester, and they have got good players, don't forget. They did good investment earlier on in the summer, they spent an estimated guess around £90 million, they recommended 4 good players in. They got Yuri Tillemans for a club record fee of £40 million, they also got, they got Dennis Pryor from Sampdoria, they got James Justin from Luton for £6 million, and they got Perez from Newcastle. I also believe that Perez, came on in the game, but we usually, do beat Leicester anywhere. Leicester, the last time they beat us, it was actually back under Louis van Gaal era, and Leicester, did actually, win that particular game by 5 goals to 3. But like I did say, our home form needs to improve, because our home form recently, hasn't been that good. Also, our away form needs to improve, because that hasn't also, been good recently. But now we have got to go on a good winning run. And yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves time at Manchester United, because, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and he did actually say early on in the summer, that he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I know a lot of people have got doubts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The question is, has he got the stature, to get Manchester United in that commanding position and that? But time will tell. But he deserves, more time, does Solskjaer, because analysing this squad, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. But I think, anywhere at the start of the season, the board did assure, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will be backed in January or perhaps next summer, because the board realised at the start of the season that they didn't back Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. He didn't get all the players, that he wanted. But I said it was going to be hard for us to get, certain players at a certain calibre and level, because obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League. But I think regardless of what happens this season anyway, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, should be safe. But he does need more time. But definitely, further more investment is needed in the squad. Obviously that midfield is one of the priority areas where we do need to strengthen up, because I've got a lot of element of concerns about that midfield. And when Paul Pogba's out of that midfield, there is a huge difference in that midfield. We may even go in for the right winner in January or next summer, because don't forget, for the majority of the summer, was in search for a right winner. But I think initially our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. I don't think we'll win the league at least for the next couple of seasons, maybe even 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. I think the squad's good enough for the top 4 finish at least, but I don't think it's good enough to win the league. So hopefully in January we can get at least a couple more players in, because at the start of the summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, he wanted to recommend anywhere at least 5 new additions to the squad. I'm surprised Mason Greenwood, didn't start today. I thought Mason Greenwood, should have actually started the game today. I think I'll credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the aspect, that he has got quite a lot of trustworthiness these young players. But I'm surprised Mason Greenwood, didn't start today. Obviously, it was Rashford that actually, played in that number 9 today. Obviously, fulfilling Anthony Martial's role. I don't think Rashford was too bad today. He put a better performance out today than he did against Southampton. But I said due to Martial's absence, I thought, Mason Greenwood, could have actually got the opportunity today. He didn't even play in the game all today, but he didn't start from the start as I thought he could have done, because Mason Greenwood so far this season has made four substitute appearances for the club. But obviously, Mason Greenwood is demanding more playing time. He wants more playing time, and that, he's not yet played a full game this season. Mason Greenwood did well for the reserves last season. He scored 30 goals in 29 games. But I can't believe, he wasn't involved today. Obviously with Angel Gomez, I thought he may have been given the opportunity, Angel Gomez, because I thought he should have played against Southampton, but he didn't. I thought he may have got the opportunity today, but obviously he didn't. But he didn't, as you say, he was going to be a big part of the squad this season. It was good to see Chong, come on in the game. I think that's his actual first appearance. Well, first time he's played this season. Chong, obviously Solskjaer did say to Chong that he will get more first team opportunities. So in that aspect, it's comparable what he said about Mason Greenwood, because he said at the start of the season that Mason Greenwood, will be assured more first team opportunities. But recently he said Chong's been in negotiations with the football club over a new long-term contract. This is what it basically said. Obviously Chong, was subjected to a bit of transfer speculation early on in the summer. Obviously, there was talks about him possibly going to PSV or his former club Feyenoord on loan, but he turned these loan offers down because he obviously wanted to remain loyal to Manchester United. But Chong is only 19 years of age, so we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve in that. But I thought it was a better performance today, than what we've seen, recently. It was a bad performance against Southampton. It was a pretty bad performance against Palace. Well, actually, we had a lot of chances in the Crystal Palace game. We had over 20 odd shots. We had the majority of the possession, but we just, this wasn't clinical enough. And that, recently Gary Neville was speaking about Man United the other week, and he gave his overarching view, and he thinks, we're playing the right way under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what he means is the style of play is right, but all he's saying is, we just haven't got that clinical element, we're just not being clinical enough in front of goal. And this is obviously, something, Manchester United do need to justify. Alex Tuanzebe, like I said, it was good to see him, come on in the second half. He didn't, as you say, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season, despite the fact that obviously Harry Maguire and Lindelof are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, first choice centre-backs. But overall, pretty good result today. I think a lot of Man United fans will come on and say, we expected to see more than 1-0, but, it's a good result because Leicester are a pretty decent team. Like Solskjaer did say in his press conference prior to the game, he actually, praised Leicester, throughout his press conference. He basically said, Leicester are, a good team, they've got a good manager. He said Brendan Rodgers has got a good proven pedigree. Don't forget, Brendan Rodgers did do well in his few years, when he was at Celtic. Don't forget, he had a good 2013-14 season, with Liverpool and that. And Leicester have got a really, really good players. So I did say, this was the real tester, today. And obviously, we've got, that result, which is good. And a lot of United fans were saying, we can definitely, grind out a result against Leicester. But, if we can, get Pogba and Martial fit by West Ham, Luke Shaw, I don't know if he's going to be fit for West Ham. Solskjaer confirmed with in regards to Luke Shaw that, he'll be out for the next week or two. Don't forget, Luke Shaw's out with hamstring injury, Martial's out with a thigh injury, Pogba, of course, is out with an ankle injury. But we knew Pogba and Martial wouldn't be playing today. Solskjaer did, confirm in his press conference. But yeah, I thought the players that played well today, what I saw, Harry Maguire put a good performance out, Wan-Bissaka put a good performance out, Dan James did quite well. Don't think he was the best player on the pitch, but, I think he did quite well. But Tomway, I thought, did quite well. Fred did really, really well, when he came on in the second half. But yeah, I thought a lot of players, did quite well today. Like I did say in the game, Leicester had their moments. I think they did have some opportunities, did Leicester. But all that matters is we got the result, and of course we did keep that clean sheet. That's basically all that matters. But yeah, we've got more than, we've got other injuries. Don't forget, Eric Bayes a long-term absence. He's out until the new year with a knee injury sustained throughout pre-season, I think it was. Fossil Mensah's a long-term absence. Don't forget, Lee Grant's out of injury. Don't forget, Diego Dalot is out with a groin problem, so we knew he wouldn't wouldn't have been participating today. I think it's unknown, when Diego Dalot, will recover from injury. We don't really know, to be quite unsure. Again, Marcus Rojo, I thought he could have possibly, got I think Rojo would have played if Wan-Bissaka, wouldn't have been able to play today. I think Rojo probably would have played on that left-hand side because, Rojo is very versatile. He's primarily a central defender, but obviously, he can play in other positions and that. But we have got big ambitions for the future, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to get Manchester United, back to winning ways, and obviously, back to winning silverware, should I say. He obviously wants to bring that winning mentality back to the football club, and wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club, and that fear factor hasn't been there, since the Alex Ferguson and Herrera, basically. And I know a lot of people are doubting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. I've got other element of concerns about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that he hasn't really got the experience as a manager, to the highest level, so that's another element of concern. But I think, he does need to get given a bit more time, without a shadow of a doubt. Despite the fact, Despite the fact that a lot of players have now left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, I still believe in January or next summer we need to orchestrate on getting maybe rid of a couple of more players, because I still believe, now these problematic players at the football club. Obviously, at the end of last season, we saw Antonio Valencia leave Manchester United after he served 10 years at the club. Chris Smalling left the football club. He's gone on loan to Roma. Smalling did serve 9 years with Man United, but despite the fact that Smalling's gone on loan to Roma, we have still got 6 centre backs. Obviously, Darmian left, Ander Herrera left, Marian Fellaini left. It was a shame that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera or Marian Fellaini. They were 2 long-serving players at the club, so we didn't really reinvest. We didn't reinvest in that midfield, and that's something we've got to do in January. Lukaku left again. I thought we should have really we should have. We should have got a replacement for Lukaku, and of course Sanchez left the football club, and a couple of goalkeepers have gone out on loan. But for me, there's still more players that need to leave, and there's still more players that do need to come in. So that's something obviously I've got to focus on in January. Young, I thought Young did quite well today. I'll credit me in that aspect. We do know that obviously Ashley Young has passed his sell-by date now at the club. Obviously, it's reflecting on his age. He's 34. I think he's 35 next year if I'm right. Obviously, don't forget the club gave him a new 1 year extension last season, Ashley Young, but I think this could be his last season as a Manchester United player. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United, is Ashley Young. But maybe he could retire at the end of the season, or if he doesn't retire, he could just leave Manchester United either way. Phil Jones, he's obviously going to find game time very, very difficult now. Obviously, especially with the arrival of Harry Maguire, I think Jones needs to be moved on in January or next summer, because obviously Jones has been another long-serving player at the club. Jones has been here 9 years. Obviously, he's nearly he's been here 8 seasons, but this is now his 9th season. So Jones has nearly been at Manchester United now nearly a decade. So I think he's another player that needs to go. Don't forget he signed a new long-term contract last season. In regards to Eric Bay, I think possibly the club could orchestrate on moving him on in January or next summer. Obviously, reflecting on the amount of injuries he's sustained as a Man United player, obviously, Bay has become injury prone, and I just don't really see him the point of him being here. Obviously, reflecting on the amount of injuries he has sustained. I think if the right suitable offer came in for Bay in January or next summer, there would be a possibility that Man United would consider offloading him. So we would probably look to at least recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him back in 2016. But yeah, maybe we could. With Rojo, I think he definitely needs to be moved on in January or next summer. Rojo's obviously going to find game time very, very difficult. I think he's enjoyed a difficult 4 or 5 years with Manchester United. Obviously, his Man United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. Obviously, don't forget the likes of Marcelo, Monaco and AC Milan. Don't forget, inquired about Rojo in the summer. Everton also inquired about getting him on deadline day. But I think he's another player that needs to be moved on. Matic again, he's a liability. He's the Nemanja Matic, and he only started today, I think, because the absence of Paul Pogba and that's the only reason Matic started the game today. Obviously, he's no longer first choice, but he's a liability. We have seen glimpses of how good he can be as a Man United player, but he's aging up. He isn't, of course, getting any younger as the Nemanja Matic. So we paid £40 million for Matic, so I think we overpaid for him. But yeah, I think he definitely needs to be moved on. He definitely needs to be moved on. But like I said, we haven't had a great start to the season, but you know it's good that we've got back to winning ways today against Leicester. So FC Astana, we need to win that on Thursday. You know, we need to win away at West Ham. We should beat Rochdale, you know, in the Carabao Cup again. In that particular game, you know, there's a chance there for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, to go with the youth more in that particular game. Carabao Cup games are always known for you know, always going with young players anywhere. And the Arsenal game is going to be a pretty tough game. Don't forget, I think that's on the 30th of this month. But yeah, definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's confirmed. You know, he does want to make further more investment in the squad. Definitely wants to make further more investment in the squad. You know, I think he'll stick with his transfer strategy. Will Solskjaer definitely stick with his transfer strategy, because obviously he worked out his transfer strategy early on in the summer. He did basically say, you know, he wanted to sign young homegrown players, but he will definitely not stick with the same transfer strategy. But I do believe, you know, the players, you know, we was in for throughout the course of the summer, we'll probably reignite our interest in them in January anyway. We could go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. Don't forget, throughout the course of the summer, that Bruno Fernandes, you know, was our main priority target, but obviously, you know, we didn't get him. And I did say at the time I would have been excited about the prospects of Bruno Fernandes, you know, playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield. We didn't get him. You know, there's been recent, you know, talks going on about James Maddison, you know, don't forget, from Leicester, and I like James Maddison a lot. Obviously, he did recently say that, you know, we've identified James Maddison as a potential summer signing, you know, which is obviously, you know, next summer we could possibly go in for James Maddison in January. Recent reports have indicated out saying that we've actually been in for James Maddison since June. We've only been tentatively linked to him, you know, analysing it throughout the course of the summer. You know, James Maddison, you know, wasn't our number one of our main priority targets at all. Obviously, reportedly, if we had to go in for him in January or next summer, it could cost us in the excess of around £80 million. So in that aspect, you know, we'll have to spend a substantial amount on another player. Don't forget, we did business with Leicester early on this summer. Obviously, you know, we paid £80 million for Harry Maguire, and obviously Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in the world. Obviously, the second most expensive signing at the football club. But yeah, it could cost us in the excess of around £80 million. Obviously, you know, James Maddison, it were on his first season in the Premier League last season. Now this is his second season in the Premier League. But last season, James Maddison did well. You know, he scored 7 goals and provided 7 assists, so he was involved in 14 goals. Last season, he created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. I think he must have created around 100 chances. Leicester only got him last summer from Norwich for around, £20 million. So he's a player Man United could definitely go in for in January or next summer. Dybala and Mandzukic, there were 2 players, you know, we did inquire about getting in the summer, you know, went in for Mandzukic towards the end of the window. He's had a good career, Mandzukic, and we knew that he was available for a reasonable figure, was Mandzukic, because he said, you know, we'd have to pay around £80 million to get him, but I think the board had element of concerns about bringing him in anyway, obviously reflecting on his age, because he's 33. Dybala, again, I'd have loved him at Manchester United, shame we didn't get him. Obviously, at the time, we were seeing him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Jadon Sancho, I think we could, if we had to reignite our interest in him, we may go back in for Jadon Sancho next summer. But definitely no more investment is needed in the squad. Definitely more investment is needed in the squad. As I did give you my update earlier on, good news has come out in regards to David De Gea. We do now know that David De Gea is staying at the football club. He's remaining loyal to the football club. That despite that we've been, you know, inconsistent for a number of years, and despite that we've had a pretty bad start to this season, you know, De Gea wants to remain loyal to the football club, because obviously, you know, David De Gea, you know, loves the football club. You know, he's been a long servant at Manchester United. You know, like I said, he made his 367th appearance today, I think, in all competitions, if I'm right. Obviously, now this is his 9th season at Manchester United. You know, he's been here 8 years, and I think he's had 7.5 good years as David De Gea. So, analysing the majority of his Man United career, I think he has, you know, been very, very consistent. And Solskjaer, you know, did regard him as, well, he said he basically, you know, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But like I updated you this morning, good news has come out. You know, it's stemming from Duncan Castles, and you know, Duncan Castles tends to be reliable, you know, the majority of the time. I know he jumps too early, you know, like he has done. What are you doing?
Norwich are beating Man City 2-0.
Are they?
At Carrow Road. Fucking hell, kicked off at 5:30, didn't it?
Yeah.
The 2-0 up at Norwich.
Yeah. he jumps too early on stuff, there's Duncan Castles, like he did early on this summer, in regards to Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. But Duncan Castles came out yesterday and he basically said, that David De Gea has signed a new contract with Manchester United, which obviously means that ends the speculation regarding his future. Reportedly, he's going to sign a 4-year deal with an option of a 5th year. David De Gea is set to earn around 250 grand a week. That's going to be his basic salary, according to the Mirror, I think. But reportedly, it could rise up to around 350 grand a week, based on performance, related clauses. So I think now David De Gea is going to become the highest paid player at the football club. This is what it basically said. But yeah, this was stemming from Duncan Castles, and like I said, the majority of the time, Duncan Castles, is very, very reliable. I think David De Gea is set to earn around 13.3 million a season after tax. This is actually stemming from the Daily Mail. So yeah, it hasn't been officially announced as you all know, but he did initially say it should be announced within the next 24 hours or whenever. So it should be announced sometime this weekend, or should be announced early next week. So when it does get announced, we will come on this channel and that. But David De Gea, is showing, with him signing a new contract, he's showing his passion for the club. He's also showing his attachment to the club, because we do know earlier on in the summer, it was looking very imminent, that David De Gea was going to be leaving the football club. Because don't forget, PSG were regarded as the favourites to get him in this summer, earlier on this summer that is. Don't forget, Juventus inquired about him, Real Madrid have been linked to him for a number of years, and I thought maybe David De Gea could have been open to making a return back to Madrid, because don't forget, David De Gea grew up in Spain. Obviously his relatives are in Spain. He began his footballing career in Spain with Atletico Madrid, so I thought he could have made a return back to Madrid. Obviously he was so close to joining Real Madrid in 2015, which was obviously almost 5 years ago now, but due to a fax machine, he's moved to Real Madrid, never materialised. But like I did say, if we hadn't got him a new contract, I said I definitely said we needed a replacement for him. Or if we didn't get him a new contract as well, it would have been beneficial to cash in for him in January rather than letting go on a free transfer at the end of the season, because his current deal does expire at the end of the season. But looking like he's going to be signing the 4-year deal with an option of a 5th year, which is very, very good news. David De Gea, he's won the Summit Busby Player of the Year award 4 times in 5 seasons, reflecting on his impressive performances, and he has been here since early Alex Ferguson and Moreira as David De Gea. So he's still only 28 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. We had a couple of goalkeepers in our agenda, who could have replaced David De Gea at the football club. If he hadn't signed this new contract, there was obviously talks about Jean Blanc coming in as his replacement. We identified him as our number 1 target to replace De Gea. Don't forget, we inquired about Jordan Pickford. So there was a couple of goalkeepers on our agenda, who could have replaced him. But look, we've got backup goalkeepers to David De Gea. We've got Sergio Romero. Obviously, he's our second choice goalkeeper, not reliable enough, to become our number 1. You've got Lee Grant. Obviously, he's injured, but he's one of the backups as well. Dean Henderson's obviously back out on loan to Sheffield United. I think it's good in that aspect because Dean Henderson is going to gain more experience. Obviously, Joe Pereira's gone out on loan to Hearts, in Scotland. So I said if he had left, we needed a replacement for him. But I'm very, very, happy, that he's staying at the football club. But anyway, if we're not competing for the top 4 by January, anyway, David De Gea, will want out at the football club. But looking likely, he's going to sign this new contract. So I'm very, very excited about that. So if he signs his 4-year contract, it'll take him under contract with the club until 2024 or something like that. But yeah, I am very, very delighted by it. But I did say I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, works out at Manchester United, because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And all the Manchester United fans, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. Don't forget, he's our 4th permanent manager, since the Alex Ferguson and Moreira. He's our 4th permanent manager. Obviously, 3 managers have already been sacked from the football club. And, like I did say, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. And, we're not really known for sacking a club. But I think, the board, will give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more time, to make further more investment. But I'd give him overall analysis. I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years or so. And I know, reflecting on the amount of money that's been spent in the last 6 years at Man United, I know, obviously, I think an estimated guess, we've spent nearly £900 million in the last 6 years on players. If you want to take into account, what wages, players are on at the football club, it's over £1 billion, isn't it? Because obviously there is now players on big wages at Manchester United. But yeah, so we should be much more of a commanding position, than we're in. But I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm hopeful, he can get us back, to how where we want to be. So hopefully this result today is going to give us some confidence, and now we're going to improve this season, because I wanted to improve this season because, last season was a huge disappointment. We finished sixth. That was the lowest we finished, since the David Moyes era, I think it was, if I'm right. Obviously we finished 32 points behind Man City last season, and obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League. So we can't enjoy a worse season this season than what we witnessed last season. But we've just got to get back into the Champions League. That's very, very imperative indeed. I don't think we're ever going to be the team that was under Alex Ferguson. Regardless of our managers, this team's never going to replicate what the team did under Ferguson. I just don't think anyone's going to follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. But I'm going to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now all the way. Obviously, it was a cheap solution anyway. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, we only paid a couple of million to Mould, to get him in, as interim in that 3-month period where he did really, really well. The results were good, and he got the best out of these group of players. Then obviously, he got the job permanently in March early on this year, and obviously we paid a further £7 or £8 million to Mould to give him the job permanently. To give him the job permanently before. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recommended in. Obviously, there was quite a few, names linked to that managerial role at Manchester United. Don't forget, there was a lot of talks about Pochettino coming in. There was some talks about, Zinedine Zidane and that coming out. Said at the time, the only way I think they'd come to Manchester United, if there was, to get a substantial amount, to spend. I think that's the only way, one of their managers, would have come to the football club. But Solskjaer knows the traditions of the football club, and that Pochettino doesn't. And Pochettino would have had to pay more money, anywhere to get Pochettino in. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was much more of a cheaper solution. But he needs time because, reflecting back under the Alex Ferguson era, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club because he came in 1995, or was it 1986, from Aberdeen. He didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, and obviously at that point he was on the verge of getting the sack was Alex Ferguson, but he didn't. And look what he produced in that and delivered. He's one of the most successful managers, and we are the most successful team in England historically. We are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got a fantastic fan base. We've got massive revenues. We've obviously won 20 titles, 13 Premier League, 7 all the first divisions. But yeah, so hopefully now with this result today, we can build on that, and start going on a winning run. I think we need to win at least our next 3 games, but we've got to keep winning anyway, to keep our hopes up, for that top 4. Definitely. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, we have to, basically do that. But like I said, really, really good result today. There will be more live videos coming up. I think one will be coming up later on today, or there'll be a couple of more, coming up tomorrow. Obviously, I gave you the news earlier on this week, didn't I? In regards to the director of football at Manchester United. Obviously, there was a lot of names mentioned, who could have taken that director's role earlier on in the summer. Obviously, there was a lot of talks about Ferdinand taking the director's role, Everett, and Darren Fletcher, and I think actually, Ed Woodward had spoken to them, regarding the director's role at the football club. I think we definitely need to get a director of footballing, because that's a structural change we need at the football club. And I was, disappointed earlier on in the summer, that we didn't get that director of football in. Recent reports, as you all know, have come out earlier on this week, as I've updated you regularly, that Ed Woodward has identified Edwin van der Sar as his number one priority, to become the director of football at Manchester United. Like I said, Ed Woodward's going on the experience, obviously. Edwin van der Sar's been the CEO at Ajax since 2016. Obviously now he's into his 4th season at Ajax. I think is Edwin van der Sar. And I think also Ed Woodward is satisfied with the work he's done at Ajax. It's not assured that Edwin van der Sar will come in, but Ed Woodward would like him to come our new director of football. Maybe there's question marks saying that maybe if we'd have got that director of football in early on this summer, maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been backed more in that aspect. But like I said, we've got a good squad.
Buying takeaway for his tea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you buying takeaway for tea? But like I said, yeah, very, very good result today. I have been, frustrated with the lack of silverware in the last 6 years at Man United. We haven't really won much, have we? We didn't win out under David Moyes, where we managed to win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal in 2016. Won the Europa League and League Cup under Jose Mourinho and Moreira and that. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season. But yeah, so a good result today for Manchester United. I said I only watched bits and bats of the game. Watched some of the highlights on YouTube. Obviously, it wasn't on live today because obviously it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. But yeah, I think we've definitely gone up the table now, with that result today. But yeah, good to see, Rashford scoring. It was good to see him, scoring from the spot because don't forget, he missed the penalty early on this season, against Crystal Palace, and obviously he received I think he must have received quite a bit of criticism for that and all that. We've had quite a lot of penalties so far this season. We had 2 against Chelsea. Did we have 2 against Chelsea, or was it 1 against Chelsea, if I can remember rightly? But I'm sure we did get a penalty in the game against Chelsea. It was 1, I think. We had a penalty against Wolves. Pogba missed that penalty against Wolves. Obviously, I said Rashford missed a penalty against Crystal Palace. So we've had quite a few penalties, so far this season. In regards to Paul Pogba, like I said, I'm hopeful, he can be back, for the game against West Ham, because Pogba's a very imperative player, and, I'm very, very happy, that Paul Pogba's staying at Man United at least until January or next summer. I still believe Paul Pogba's plans for the future is to definitely, make a move to Real Madrid. But obviously, I did say Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid this summer. Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid, the stumbling block about it was obviously, reflecting on the substantial amount, we put on him basically, because, we said we wanted around 179 million, 180 million for Pogba, it said early on this summer, and obviously Real Madrid were not willing to pay that amount of money for him, and we, in that aspect, we was demanding just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus, back in 2016, but we still remain ruthless over our valuation, we're still demanding the same amount. I think it says, we want around 179 million in January for Pogba, if we are to let him go in January. Whether Real Madrid are willing to pay this or not, I do not know. There is a possibility actually that Paul Pogba, could renew his contract at the football club. Recent reports came out the other week, and they said that Manchester United have been in negotiations. Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in negotiations with the football club over the possibility of getting Paul Pogba a new contract. And obviously, regarding his future, Paul Pogba has got 2 years left on his current contract with an option to extend it by a further year. And, Paul Pogba is on 290 grand a week at the club. Obviously, if he is to commit to a new long-term contract, I think Paul Pogba definitely would be demand to be the highest paid player at the football club. So an estimated guess, he demands somewhere in the region of around maybe 400, 500, maybe even £500,000 a week or something like that. But Real Madrid themselves spent a substantial amount throughout the course of summer. They spent around £300 million on 5 players. They did sell some players, so they did generate some of that money back. But Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him throughout the course of the summer. Juventus were also in for him, don't forget, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. There has been a lot of talks actually about him making a return back to Turin. Obviously there was talks about him going to Juventus last summer, obviously because he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last summer. Pogba, reflecting on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, and Paul Pogba got one of his best issues when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But Paul Pogba confirmed back in June, which was obviously early on in the summer, that he wanted to leave Man United. He did say, he's seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted, that he did want to leave the football club. Obviously, recently Paul Pogba's brother came out and he actually said, his brother's obviously Mayfield, and he said on his brother's behalf that he was talking to Lionel Messi, because obviously Barcelona were also in for him throughout the course of the summer. But I think Adidas mainly played a part in Paul Pogba remaining at the football club. This is what reports circulated out about that the other week. They said Adidas had a big part to play in Pogba staying. Reportedly Adidas intervened in his transfer to Real Madrid, and Adidas, believe that Adidas wanted him to stay because obviously they think it's better for them commercially with him staying and that. But Pogba's 26 years of age, he has still got a lot of development in him, and he was a huge miss today, because we do know when Paul Pogba is his best, he's good at playing and passes through, he's good, you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, when he's freed up. Obviously he's into his 4th season now since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with the football club. But hopefully, he can be back for West Ham. A recent report said earlier on this week that allegedly Paul Pogba had agreed to join PSG. He actually said he agreed a contract worth around £429,000 a week, with PSG in that. But reportedly, his move to PSG never materialised because obviously, with the Neymar side, because obviously there was rumours going on throughout the course of summer of Neymar possibly making a return back to Barcelona. And obviously, Neymar is the most expensive player in the world. But like I said, yes, so Solskjaer made alterations today in the game, obviously, affecting him on the amount of injuries, where we had. But yeah, I thought the majority of players, did quite well today, so I will credit him for that. Leicester had their moments, as we all knew they were gonna, because they've got, quality in that team. But I thought we defended, quite well today. But when the substitutions came on in the second half, I thought, Man United, up the game again. But all that matters is, we got the 3 points. So now we have now registered, 8 points now from a possible 15. Obviously, 5 games now have gone in the Premier League season. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.